Hi everybody, today I'm going to show you how to make a brush out of Photoshop first of all, and then how to edit brushes in the brush presets. That's this folder over here that's full of brushes. You can also mute this tutorial. I do understand that a lot of you are in class and don't want to listen to me talk. So first of all, you want to have something that you want to turn into a brush. This looks extremely sloppy, but in the brush presets we're going to fix it up a little bit, make it how we want it to. It's really just, I took a bunch of the default Photoshop brushes and smeared them together and erased stuff, so it looks roughly like some kind of traditional media. You can also scan in ink splotches or paintbrush marks and things like that to make brushes. So the first thing we're going to do is go to Edit, Define Brush Preset, after making sure that our brush is black on pure white background. And it's only one layer in the layers panel. So you can name it whatever you want. I don't know. I don't know. And it's going to be the exact size that you created at. So if you paint really large, then you want to have a really large brush. And if you paint really small, it still doesn't hurt to start out with a really large brush. And as soon as you press OK, your brush will be available to you. Sort of as a stamp at first, a stamp that repeats itself again and again. Let me show you a little bit smaller. Now you can make the brush smaller and it doesn't really alter the quality, but if you make it much larger, then you see it starting to blur more, and it's really not the crispy quality you want to give your artwork. Let's make a new document so that we can play with it in a larger area. So what we're seeing right now is like a bunch of repeating stamps. It looks like a pattern. It's not very random. It's not very much like traditional art supplies at all. So we can go to the brush preset modifier, and there's a whole bunch of options in here. I just mess around with them every time. I don't have a set thing that I always do. Generally, though, if there is something I always do, it's shape dynamics, at least a little bit, because I work with a Wacom Fun tablet, and I like to have it where the less pressure I apply, the smaller the brush is. It's a little bit more natural. So most of the options in here are pretty self-explanatory. Size jitter modifies the size, or randomizes the size rather. Medium diameter, you know, just mess with it, and there's a little preview down here so that you can see what it will look like when you eventually begin to paint with it. I guess I'll just go through and see if I like any of these. Ooh. You can also do this with the brush presets that Photoshop gives you. You know, the really ugly brushes that you never want to use. I'm going to put one of those, I'm going to put one of those in as a dual brush with the brush that I just made, just to show you that it's possible. Really you just want to mess with all this stuff and figure out what you like to do best, but this is the place to do it. So I'm going to press X, and it has for me the brush that I just made and modified. And that's much better. Less ugly, more random. And you can do this for line art brushes, paint brushes, any sort of thing you want. I don't know what I'm doing. You can do the same thing, like you can access all of your brushes via the eraser tool also. And so I really like this brush that I just made. So the way to save it is to press this little new button. I got to that by going to this drop-down menu next to the brush shape. And it's right here. And it makes another new brush, IDK1. That's a modified version of the brush you just had. Capture brush size, nah. So it doesn't show up as a very set size. It can probably go up to 349 without losing a whole lot of quality, just like that other one I made.